don't know if I'm worthy. I'm not worthy. Gotta make sure I'm not.
Okay, he'll find his way. All right, we'll wait on him. Bye. He's in the parking deck, just trying to wander into the building. I will send a seat. Yes. And then they have to give him a girlfriend. Neither one of us.
Me?
Somebody else.
Oh, I'll see that.
I don't want either one of us to be called up, do you?
Community College System, and I want to thank the Chancellor and his staff, the presidents and their staff for the documentation that they prepared today for our meeting. As always, we are true to our core mission of education, workforce development, and academic transfer. We're all about student success. At this time, I would like to introduce our pastor, Reverend Claude Mcroberts, and he's been the senior minister of Trinity Presbyterian Church in Montgomery, Alabama for over 22 years and has served on the Trinity Presbyterian School Board for the past 21 years. He graduated with honors from the University of Mississippi in liberal arts with a BA in English. He is also a graduate of Reformed Theological Seminary in Jackson, Mississippi. He has served churches in Savannah, Georgia, as well as Jackson, Columbus, and Clarksdale, Mississippi. Claude and his wife Betsy recently celebrated their 30th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. And they have 3 grown children. Reverend Mcroberts.
Thank you so much. I didn't realize I'd get an introduction, but I thought I would read a passage, and then I won't pray long at all, but I'll just pray for you. Psalm 121, I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He will keep you. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. God, it is to you and you alone, this God, the God of the Bible, the true God, that we pray and ask your blessings on all the proceedings today as these have given their time and energy. They obviously have interest in this. It is part of their heart and their lives. So it's an honor for me to pray for them that everything they do today in thought, word, and deed would be done to your glory. They would, in fact, love one another and love others, love all the students, the ones who are being trained, and their faculties. And it's probably best I don't know everything they're about today, because you do, and you're sovereign and you're holy. And I ask for your Holy Spirit to fill this room, and that we'd all remember all truth is your truth. So bless them as they conduct their meeting. And we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you so much.
Let's stand for a pledge. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Wilkins, please call the roll.
Mr. Jeff Shale. Mr. John Mitchell. Ms. Valerie Gray.
Present.
Mr. Matthew Woods.
Present.
Mr. Goodrich Rogers.
Present.
Mr. Milton Davis.
Present.
Mr. Levelyn Rowe.
Present.
Mr. Blake McAnally.
Present.
Dr. Yvette Richardson. Governor Kay Ivey. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Our agenda was distributed to in advance to our board members for review. And
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion that the meeting agenda be amended to add an action item for the consideration and vote on a resolution approving the Chancellor's recommendation to initiate the planning process for the transfer and/or consolidation of the Alabama Community College System institutions, corrections, instructional programs from Gadsden State Community College, Coastal Alabama Community College, Calhoun Community College, and Wallace Community College to Ingram State Community College, and authorizing notification to the Alabama Commission on Higher Education, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, and the Council on Occupational Education.
thank you. We have a motion from Mr. Rogers. I have a second.
I'll second the amendment.
Second from Mr. Woods. Let's see, all in favor of the motion by Mr. Rogers, second by Ms. Woods, please show a hand vote. All right. Any opposed? All right, motion approved to amend the agenda with the item for the resolution relating to prison education. Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes for our October 13th meeting. And these minutes, again, were distributed to our board members before in advance. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers.
Second.
Second by Mr. Woods. All in favor of approving the minutes signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Minutes approved. Next is the public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, no one for public comment. Okay. Next on our agenda is item 7, Academic and Student Affairs, Adult Education Facilities, Fiscal Information Technology, and Workforce Development. First item is item 7A1, Marion Military Institute, and it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize Marion Military Institute to charge their students the system enhancement fee of $10 per credit hour This fee will take effect in the fall semester of 2022. Is a motion?
So moved.
Motion, Mr. Rogers.
Second.
Second by Mr. Roan. All in favor signify by raising hands. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 7A2, the re-roofing at Draper campus. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mitchell,
Second.
second by Mr. Shell. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the re-roofing at Draper campus, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8, executive legal and public information. Item A1 is the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees, our 2022 board meetings and work session schedule. Is a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. McAnally,
Second.
second by Mr. Shell. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A2 for the Alabama Community College System General and Garage Liability Insurance. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Gray,
Second.
second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A3, the Alabama Community College System Cyber Liability Insurance. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Roan,
Second.
second by Mr. Woods. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A4, and it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Calhoun Community College to name the Advanced Technology Lab as the Gene Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing and to add the appropriate interior and exterior signage. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers,
Second.
second by Ms. Gray. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A5, and it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Bishop State Community College to name the Electrical Circuits Lab in the Advanced Manufacturing Center for Alabama Power and to add the appropriate signage.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Shell,
Second.
second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A6, and it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the president of Wallace Community College, Dothan, to name the Wallace Campus Writing Center located in the Center for Academic Success as Dr. Imogene Matheson Mixon Writing Center and to add the appropriate signage. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mitchell,
Second.
second by Ms. Gray. Any discussion? All in favor signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A7, the approval of the Bookstore Management Agreement. Motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Roan, second by Mr. Woods. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say, appreciate the investigation and moving forward with this. It seems as if every one of these partnerships that we create are benefiting our colleges, so appreciate the initiative to undertake it.
Thank you. All right, all in favor of approving, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A8, the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding and Joint Development Program Agreement with Alabama Power Company. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Motion by Mr. Shell,
Second.
second by Mr. Roan. Any discussion? All in favor of approval signify by raising your hand. Any opposition? Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A9, the Central Alabama Community College purchase of property, and it's recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the Alabama Community College System on behalf of Central Alabama Community College to purchase real property located in Prattville, Alabama from East Memorial Baptist Church. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gray,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor of approval, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposition? Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A11, and that's the resolution relating to prison education. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers,
Second.
second by Mr. Woods. Any discussion? All in favor of approving, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next is item 8A12, the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees, the amendment of the date for the December meeting from December 1st to December 8th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McAnally,
Second.
second by Mr. Roan. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the amended date, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Next on our agenda is item 9, personnel.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
There is one other item that is on the agenda, is Chattahoochee Valley Community College property.
Thank you. All right, item 8A10, the approval of the purchase of property is recommended that the Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees authorize the Alabama Community College System on behalf of Chattahoochee Valley Community College to purchase 3 buildings from Troy University. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Gray,
Second.
second. Second by Mr. Woods. Any discussion? All in favor of approval signify by raising your hand. Any opposed? Motion approved. Okay, now, item 9, personnel. No personnel? Okay. Next is item 10, Chancellor's report.
I do have. Susan, come around, please. I just asked Susan if she would to kind of give you a quick rundown. We just completed a 2.5-day session with all the presidents and other staff members in the system, and I just kind of wanted her to let you know what all has occurred in that meeting.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
Morning.
As Chancellor Baker said, we just returned from the annual, President's Fall Conference, Sunday through yesterday at Ross Bridge. Let me just start by telling you that I'm really tired. Let me be clear, this was not a vacation. I'll admit that in the past, some fall conferences have been more informative and more content-driven than others. But I think Keith Brown, the President's Association president, would say these conferences really do try to strike a balance between providing a forum for presidents to network and share practices in a more relaxed setting, and then offering really good, relevant content. What I saw over the last few days was some really good synergy among the presidents, among members of the Chancellor's staff who were in attendance, but the content was on steroids. We had a variety of presentations and updates on system initiatives. Let me just give you a snapshot of what we heard. At this conference, we really began to connect the dots and show how they all really connect. All of these initiatives, these projects that we've been engaged in over the last several months really do connect to Chancellor Baker's vision. And that vision is raising the bar on our expectations of service. We heard a great report on enrollment from Olivier Charles. We're heading in the right direction. And he also gave us a glimpse on how we're going to be taking recruiting to the next level. We had a very timely presentation regarding mental health and student counseling. And as you might imagine, mental health has taken center stage as college students are really grappling with the pandemic. We heard from Melanie Bridgeforth, who is president of the Women's Foundation of Alabama, one of our partner organizations, about ways that we can continue to expand and enhance our partnerships and accelerate opportunities for women. We heard a report from our system office's instructional leader, Dr. Vicki Olson. We had a very informative presidential panel on foundations. Mark Salmon, our Chief Facilities Officer, reported on the status of facilities and capital projects. Mara Harrison gave us an update on the ACCS Innovation Center, which I think you'll hear about a little bit more today. And we had a wonderful, wonderful history lesson on the system that not only filled in the blanks for our new presidents, but offered an important reminder to our seasoned presidents. We talked a little bit about compensation trends around the Southeast. We heard from an uplifting, motivational speaker, and we had an opportunity for a session that's called Chat with the Chancellor. Through all of this, we did find some time to eat and actually socialize, and that was good as well. But what I just want to say is it was a very, very good conference. There was lots of information shared, and there's lots of unpacking of that information that we need to do, both with our presidents, with our colleges, and with you over the next several months. I think that's it, Mr. Baker. I'm tired. Did I tell you that already? It was great. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Olivier, Olivier's going to update you on enrollment numbers and what we're doing. And before he starts, I'd like to just express appreciation for those people in all of our schools. They've been going through a significant training program and a different approach, a very systematic way to work in student enrollment and services. And I think it's paying off. So, Olivier, it's your...
Yes, sir. I, like Susan, am also tired, but I'm waiting for that Monster Energy drink to kick in just a second. Thank you all for just a few minutes just to provide a snapshot as to where we are as a system with enrollment. You know, to be honest, the last couple of years in college enrollment has been tough, and it is still tough because a lot of colleges are still trying to recover and just get to where they were prior to 2019. So, you know, there's still a lot of things happening around the nation because COVID just hurt enrollment across the nation. Next slide, please. Over the last couple of years, we've certainly seen a decline on a nationwide scale as it relates to enrollment. There's been about a 14% decrease in community college enrollment specifically over the last few years. And in fall 2021 alone, this current semester, Nationwide, there is a 5.6% decrease in enrollment across the country. Next slide. What I'm proud to report to you today is that the Alabama Community College system is bucking that trend. As a system, we are up. We have experienced an increase in enrollment of 6.38% compared to the 5.6% decrease nationwide. That is certainly something to celebrate as a system, because the 6.3% increase in enrollment equates to about 4,500 students. I did something wrong. Oh, there's a clicker. Thank you. So that increase is for about 4,500 students. When we look at that and add some more good news to it, is that our system is actually up almost 3.5% in credit hour production. And that equates to about 22,000 credit hours more that we've produced this fall semester than last fall. 19 of our 24 colleges around the system are up, meaning that they are above where they were this time in the fall or last fall. And those remaining 5 schools, 4 of them are within 98% of where they were. So level enrollment is a good thing. So we're certainly proud of those numbers. 18 out of 24 of our colleges have increased the number of credit hours that they've produced. And credit hours are always what we strive for in advising, because it means we're producing more classes, have more students taking more classes. So that's always the number that we strive to improve. Like me, you're probably wondering, how do we do this? What are the areas, what are the audiences that we grew? And these are just some of those audiences. There's certainly some overlap, but dual enrollment grew by 10% this fall. And I think that speaks to the relationships that our colleges have with their local K-12 partners. Part-time students grew by 9%. Our technical programs grew by 8%. Non-traditional enrollment grew by 14%. And those are students that are 24 years of age or older. So I think that technical piece and that non-traditional piece speaks to what our system is doing to help meet the governor's goal. So we're helping more students get credentials, helping more people get to work, and that's not always the 18-year-old student that's fresh out of high school. First-time freshman enrollment grew by 22%. And again, these are students that just graduated high school, or it could have been people that sat out, but they're enrolling for the first time in college, so 22% growth in those categories. And we also saw growth in Hispanic and African-American populations as well. So what I love about these categories is that they're all over the place and they're broad. And if you asked our colleges what they did, you'd have 24 different answers. And that's the uniqueness of our growth, because it doesn't look the same for everybody. But I would also be remiss if I did not mention our presidents and their leadership, and our chief student affairs officers and academic officers and everyone on our campuses who really did this work. Our office didn't do this, but the people across the system who improved their relationships, whether it's dual enrollment related or found ways to meet our students where they are. We have seen just a plethora of things of how our students' needs are being met. Keith Phillips and I were at Northwest Shoals a couple of weeks ago, and we walked into a class at 5 p.m. and they had a welding class that was on a Tuesday night from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. So we got to talk to a student who had a full-time job, left his job, and was coming to class from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Every night to complete his degree. So I kudos to our colleges for finding ways to meet our students where they are, because we're seeing weekend classes, hybrid classes, nights, days, weekends, online, of course, but we're just seeing so many different offerings for our students to be able to take classes at their convenience. So that's how we're doing it as a system, is really listening to our communities and making sure that we're giving them what they need in terms of completing a degree or getting a credential. So really proud of these numbers. Really proud to see us as a system in this position where we're bucking the trend and showing what we can do compared to the national average. So certainly glad to report this to you on behalf of our colleges. Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments?
I was just going to say, this is phenomenal. Love to see the numbers, and again, thanks to the staff and presidents for all the great work that they're doing.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
What is the semi-related, it's about enrollment, what is the total number of enrollment in the prison system?
I don't have an answer to that, but I can get it for you.
That leads to my question, real question.
Is how is that going to affect the, what is it, four schools that are losing that enrollment, how's that going to reflect on those 4 schools whose enrollment may show a decrease?
Well, I think as a system, if we look at the system numbers, I think the
You're not gonna
balance
look
will
at
be
that.
there.
Okay.
And I think our goal in this is helping those colleges that may lose that head count, finding ways to recoup it. So in some communities, it might be dual enrollment. And to be honest, there are 2 populations that as a state that are marketable and prime for growth. One is dual enrollment, and the other is our non-traditional population, which are adults, moms, dads, however you want to look at it. We have to help more of those people improve their situation. So in short, that's how we're going to do it.
If we define, you might have shared this in previous meeting, define what the pool for dual enrollment is, what's out there and available? I mean, not that we're going to reach all of them, but how big is that pool?
Well, we can start with dual enrollment at 10th grade. So 10th to 12th grade at every school across the state. The current number for dual enrollment is we have 17,000 students across the state dual enrolled. That number is growing. We've tied it to our legislative ask because we're trying to keep up with that demand. The one thing about dual enrollment that's important is the relationship that our colleges have with their local K-12 partners. And we're seeing that multiplied, by 23 colleges across the state. So we're doing very well, and dual enrollment is just, if I showed it to you in a bar graph, it's just steadily climbing every single year to the point that we're having to hire somebody in our office to manage it system-wide.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had not planned this, but Annette, don't I see you, can you come over to? Because I think it's an issue that we probably need to have a limited conversation about. But as you know, the legislature finally has taken serious steps to move forward with dealing with corrections, Department of Corrections, and the overcrowded situation, as well as other things in that process. A part of all of that is changing the structure of how we deliver education to a degree. It has been the desire of both pardon and parole and correction that we provide education through one entity. And really, a majority of all the education that is being provided is tending to be more skills training programs, some adult basic ed, and some academic, but primarily trying to prepare a person before they, when you know they are going to leave corrections, prepare them for a job. So it's ended up through this whole process, and it's going to take an extended period of time to implement everything. And we have issues at some of the schools where we're teaching because of the accreditation factors, teach outs, and a whole variety of activities. Really what we're attempting to do now is put together a plan, which a lot of this work falls on Annette, and put together a plan where all of the requirements that have to be met about accreditation or whatever the case, how we go through that process, and then how we deal with the day reporting centers and the education offerings there and things like Life Tech and how we deal with all of that. So we're a long way from having that plan in place. We just know the overriding support issues. And you might give them a little update on what it looks like in terms of facilities and that kind of thing.
Thank you, Chancellor. I appreciate your support for prison education. Correctional education changes generational poverty. Ingram State serves those that are incarcerated that are 10 years away from their end of sentence or parole date. So for those that would be changing from the current community college system that they are, or community college where they are, they will still be enrolled in the same programs. They will just be enrolled through Ingram State. So as the Department of Corrections changes their, they build new prisons, Ingram State wants to go with them and build with them and be where they are. So it's been part of our plan to be cooperate with the Department of Corrections as they build their prison plan. And I expect that for both the Elmore County Prison as well as the Escambia County Prison, that there'll be a significant space, educational space for prison education for career and technical programming. We hope to also begin a concept called Vocational Village, where those that are incarcerated and are participating in vocational training also will live together in one residential unit, and everyone in that unit will be attending correctional education. That way, we can do what some of our sister colleges are doing and even offer classes at night. So currently, Ingram offers 20 career and technical programs as well as adult basic education and CDL, and that offers those will be extended to the other community colleges, and so the students will be enrolled in the same programs.
Let's make a point here, because currently what happens at Ingram, for example, we will have people who are assigned to the education programs. However, if there, for whatever reason may be, there's a lockdown at the prison from where they would be coming from, we lose those students, and it may be for a day, and it may be for a week. And so the service to those prisoners is kind of erratic on some occasions, not what it really should be. The effort is to put those people who qualify to be in the education programs in an environment where they can continuously be in the education program on the schedule they should be on. So it's, I think, the long term, but it's not going to happen overnight. What the plan is to build a mega prison in Escambia, a mega prison in Elmore, then destroy one of the facilities in Elmore, and then build a new ladies' prison.
Yes, sir.
And it's just going to take several years to get this flowing properly, we hope. And they've set aside a significant amount of money, and I don't know the exact amount. I'm still trying to find that one. But they have put money into the overall plan to help fund the facilities and have the kind of facilities that we need to do the training. So there is a concerted effort to improve the overall effort.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Or it's a major deal and a very expensive process, but it's still, I don't know what it's all going to look like when it's implemented fully, but I think it's going to be much better than where we are today.
Yes, sir.
Not just from the education standpoint, but for the whole incarceration, and hopefully we can move more rapidly to get more people out of incarceration and into productive jobs.
Chancellor, from the original plan that was considered, we were being asked to fund space for ourselves. I presume we'll still have some stake in that piece, or don't know yet?
Well, we have put money into the budget to try to make sure we can cover the additional costs that's incurred for education. I've been pretty well assured that facility-wise, they've got money in the budget to take care of our issues. As you have stated in the past, we were looking at considerable capital outlay funds that we really need across the system as a whole. So I don't think we're going to get hit with that again.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you. And I had not prepared Annette. She was going to have to come, but she stays up on her program anyway.
Any other reports, Chancellor? Anything else?
Yes, Chris, you and Mara, back some months ago, we talked a little bit, and I would admit to you that when we talk about this, it is so different than the norm in education. Sometimes we don't prepare you to be prepared for all that we're talking about. I think today they are in a position to pretty well illustrate, give you some glimpse of where I think we can go in this whole environment. So, Chris?
Yes, sir. Well, good morning, and thank you for just a minute. We hope to catch you up on what's happening with the Innovation Center and some of the partnerships we have. already going, but I think Chancellor has a vision of you seeing where this can go, and the Chancellor tabbed us, and we worked with a lot of the departments here in the system, and actually with the President yesterday. But the ACCS Innovation Center is a brainchild of the Chancellor that is, the way I like to say it is, it's kind of where workforce meets the college, and it's to equip the college to be able to deliver things that maybe they have not been able to do because of, you know, whether it's financing, equipment, or those type of things. Innovation Center is going to be able to bridge those gaps. So I will tell you, Mara Harrison is the interim executive director and has put together a team of people that's building a product that, in my opinion, nationally is second to none. And upon completion of this, well, we have our first course, right, Mara? And that course will be trained in hospitality and tourism down probably in Baldwin County the first. And we'll have students that actually get a credential in hospitality and tourism, will earn credit to come into the community college system from a workforce job where they can actually earn credit through skills training. We'll be the first nationally in the country to have a community college system that does a credentialing system for workforce in Alabama, and it's real special. And I think really what I wanted to mention was the partnerships that are taking place with all of the associations in the state. I hadn't gotten to all of them, but probably Mara has been on the road meeting with these associations and making things happen. But there's hundreds of associations in the state that represent business and industry, and the Chancellor's tabbed us to work with them in building curriculum that will deliver training for their people. And this is the start. So there's two videos I want to show, and I want Mara to give you an update on where we are with those things. So this is the first video.
A good meal and a drink mean great memories when the company and atmosphere are right where they need to be. With more than 8,600 restaurants and bars across Alabama's rural and urban communities, local cafes to national franchises all play a part on the state's $9 billion restaurant and hospitality scene. Restaurant and food service jobs make up 10% of employment in the state. It takes good hometown values for these workers to prepare meals, greet guests as hosts and hostesses, learn how to work with several different types of personalities, maintain clean facilities, and entertain crowds. To succeed, hospitality workers can be professionally trained on how to maintain top-notch customer service. The Innovation Center's hospitality training sets the foundation for workers to go from first-level customer service to management and ownership. This training is just the beginning to great opportunities in Alabama's restaurant industry.
Hi, I'm Patty Culp, and I'm the President and CEO of the Alabama Travel Council.
I'm Mindy Hannon, President and CEO of the Alabama Restaurant and Hospitality Association.
I'm Rosemary Yellabash, the NFIB Alabama State Director, and we endorse this training.
Good morning. The video that you just saw is the collaborative efforts of all of the work that's gone into each course. So every course will start with an introductory video like that. And when we're working with the state associations, they have all agreed to be on film saying that they endorse the course, which is great for us. It adds a lot of validity to it. And you can, yes, sir.
Just make sure that everybody understands we developed that. We did this. Our folks built these videos.
Yes, this is, all of these courses, remember, will be licensed by the community college system through the Innovation Center so that the community colleges are the only ones that can deliver them. So every facet of the delivery is uniquely owned by the system. So what will happen in that regard is that when we're training for courses like this, workforce training programs, there are a lot of national companies who create curricula, especially in the non-credit world, and I think I talked to you about that the last time that I spoke about this. Almost anybody can deliver that. Some companies deliver it on their own, and they just use this, big, large company-based curricula. This is special because it's Alabama-based. So it's CDL licensure is the same requirement for every single state, but our courses will feature only Alabama companies. And it has the endorsement from the Alabama State Associations because of their memberships that fall within there. So we're using them in that way to form a task force, sit down at the table with us, tell us exactly what they want, and then we incorporate the skills that they want trained. But more than that, we sort of tell the Alabama story behind it. So we are featuring not just Alabama businesses, but then local celebrities, Alabama celebrities that would endorse the training as well throughout it. We're interviewing people who have been multi-generational in companies like Vulcan, for instance, is a company that provides aggregate. They have agreed to give us aggregate for all of our paving course labs, and it's an Alabama-based company. I didn't know that. Started in 1910, and they said as part of their mission they would always have Alabama soil in their products. So we got that on film, and that's embedded in the course to just kind of add, a little spark of interest for Alabama employees. But what you're seeing on the screen is these are the courses that are right now being developed. And these are all part of the Cohort 1 delivery. We're going to have 8 more starting in January and then an additional 7 at the end of the summer so that we can have at least one program that's piloted by every college. The videos, as I said, will feature a kind of an Alabama celebrity. What you're going to see in the next update is some highlight reels from the courses and some of the stuff that goes in there. It's voiced over so that you can kind of get the idea for it. But you can see, like in the paving course, we really wanted to focus on just a really unique job opportunity that somebody might be able to get if they were to be in heavy equipment operation and drive a paving machine. And so what greater, more dynamic job than to be a paver on the Talladega racetrack. So we spent some days there filming. We captured.
She's not telling you she rode the track.
We did. It was a very fun day. And but we got great footage, and we also interviewed Brett Holmes, who's a young guy, and that's kind of a local hero. He won the 2020 race last year on the track. So just some really great things. But Chris Hastings has confirmed today for his endorsement of the video. He's going to do a little vinaigrette for us next week. And so we've got some big names there. This video will kind of show you some of those highlights.
The Innovation Center, a division of the Alabama Community College System, has partnered with Alabama State Associations to create job-ready training programs for Alabamians interested in employment opportunities and companies seeking a skilled workforce. These training program courses are truly innovative, organized, and delivered around workforce-relevant topics, including helpful vocabulary terms, job site safety, unique job experiences found within the state, and responsibilities for an entire team for efficient operations. Alabama celebrities and state association endorsements add to the validity of the training courses and engage the learner toward pride-filled Alabama positions. All assessments are interactive and engaging, ensuring student success. Alabama companies and everyday people found in jobs within the industry are highlighted throughout the courses, and custom videos and lessons surrounding job-relevant workforce knowledge provide real-world examples of on-the-job expectations in Alabama businesses. Learners work through each module and complete the courses by attending physical labs where they are expected to show what they have learned. Upon completion, students are awarded the ACCS credential from the Alabama Community College closest to their home address. Credentials can be used at a student's home college with a tuition discount or articulated credit that will ensure appropriate progression occurs and students are supported and encouraged as they advance into expanding career fields. Alabama is the first state in the nation to offer this level of training, meeting individuals where they are to train a workforce for today, tomorrow, and the future. The ACCS credentialed courses, employing Alabama to create a more successful workforce for our great state.
And this certificate of completion is what comes to the student when they have completed the course as well as the lab. And remember that this is awarded to the student by the college that's closest to that student's home address, so that in the event they want to progress or upskill in their job, their home college will be the one that provides that for them.
So an example, Matt Rogers and I was talking early this morning from Enterprise State, and he said, so Chris, in hospitality, maybe we train at one time a year, but students could come from LBW region, Wallace-Dothan's region, they could come train for this course and it still benefits that college and the students get that training. I said, exactly right. So, and he said, I'm for sure, not sure what business owner. He said, I've got an owner I'm calling today to tell him we'll have a deliverable for them in January because he's been wearing me out for months. So we're excited about some of these deliveries. It's just going to take us a little time. Any questions?
Well, I have one. Where's Keith? Come up. Let's talk about CDL. I think this is interesting and very important. Y'all I didn't say leave.
Great job. So we're looking at the Innovation Center from the standpoint of delivering CDL. How do we increase throughput? How do we get more people through the pipeline and behind the wheel of a truck? And especially in today's economy, when you look at the supply chain issues that we're having, Coca-Cola needs 1 million CDL drivers over the next 5 years nationwide. You look at just what's happening in the ports. So the idea of using the innovation, the most value-added time an instructor who's a CDL instructor has is behind the wheel with students. That's the most valuable added time they have. So how do we increase the amount of time that they have behind the wheel? The Innovation Center is going to allow us to basically take the theory portion of the CDL training and allow the individuals through the Innovation Center to take all their theory so that when they complete the theory and they prove mastery of that theory, they come with a certificate. And then it's like a doctor's appointment. We're going to look at scheduling software where an individual who might be taking CDL at a college who doesn't have a truck or an instructor, but they can get that certificate for the behind the wheel portion of the training, and now look at how can they schedule at a college who might have an instructor with a truck. So it becomes doctor appointments then. Some of the discussion is, well, each doctor appointment can be a little bit unique from the standpoint of how long it might take that individual. One of the things that I think we will be able to do working with the Innovation Center and our colleges at ATN is to do time studies. You know, ATN balances the work line, production line in companies all day long. So it's tack time, it's tracking how long it takes an individual. So we can conduct that type of study, and then we'll really be able to kind of narrow down to if it's an instructor or a student who's going to need behind the wheel training, just say backing, we might know that the average time for that is going to run 60 minutes. So we'll be able to kind of book based on what particular training that individual is coming for before behind the wheel. But at the end of the day, what this really offers, and this is when you think about it from a student, our CDL programs today start a program or a cohort, let's just say they start on December the 1st, and they go run that program for 6 weeks. Some of them may run 8 weeks. This is going to give the individual student the opportunity to decide, you know, I'm going to be I want a CDL, I'm going to enroll on Monday. Because now we really have the opportunity for an individual, instead of waiting to start a cohort based on a calendar date, it's a matter of them being able to enroll online and start the theory online, and then it's a matter of scheduling that doctor's appointment for behind the wheel. So we see this as an opportunity to really increase throughput, to get more individuals through the pipeline and more credentialed drivers on the road. Another unique thing is everyone has their unique endorsement needs. If I'm a tanker truck hauling fuel to a gas station, service station, there's certain hazmat endorsements I have to have, plus you have to pass the TSA security clearance. Mara and her team at the Innovation Center can build in those endorsement trainings so that an individual's not just passively wasting time waiting to get to that portion of an endorsement. They can take the master theory of the actual CDL, but also add on those endorsement trainings that they need to practice and study for to be able to pass and earn those endorsements. So overall, we see this as an opportunity to really improve the throughput, but also give individuals the option. You know, you may have a CDL driver who doesn't have the hazmat endorsement. It's a way for them to come study for that endorsement and be prepared to take the test. We see this, you know, how can we replicate that, not just in CDL? Where do we look to take that model and expand it as we go? So that's kind of what the vision is, work with all of our colleges. You know, we're not asking any of our colleges to stop what they're doing today on CDL, but over time we want to work with those presidents and those CDL instructors, start looking at, let's make the best use of your time by putting people behind the wheel training. Let's let the theory be standardized through the Innovation Center.
Questions?
I guess we touched on it a little bit. I would just be curious as to how do we roll this out statewide to business? It seems a tremendous task.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, I don't have a good answer for that, but I do have an approach. We are going to have at least a person who is full-time calling on various associations.
Gotcha.
Because that tends to be where, you know, the groupings that would be common. And we've had success with that through the associations that well, like the Trucking Association has already been involved in the discussion you just heard. They're buying into this, and they're helping us put it together. And it's kind of what our thought was, if we can locate the businesses and listen to them and say, okay, what do you need in the way of training? But then you help us develop the curriculum so that the curriculum includes what you need. And so that is how we're going to, once we kind of refine this and get it down to where we feel totally comfortable that we know what we're doing. And it's another trick, and it's, Mara, you might address this, but it is a major task to find people, and we have a lot of people in our schools that are helping, but to find the people that can help put together the curriculum in a way that it meets the standards that we think it should meet. So I know you've been working on that extensively.
Yep, we're with the task force that we put together to develop each course. They are members of the state association, and that's how we're really planning to communicate that from the beginning. And we ask them to choose people for the task force. It's usually about 12 people. They represent, you know, rural areas, urban areas, small businesses, larger businesses. And I think Rosemary Elabash is devoting every Thursday. She gives an update to what we're working on. I provide that to her. So a lot of communication is happening in that way. But as far as putting the courses together, we're using a Canvas platform, which is a very normal LMS for a lot of colleges. All of our colleges use delivery systems like that. But we are not just lecturing. That's not what these courses look like. They're very engaging activities, almost like gamification. So it is a very modern approach to delivery, just for skills-based, and then we're wrapping that around with the Alabama story. What we are inviting the state associations to do is I give them updates all the time, and they send it out to their memberships just like Rosemary. But what we're inviting them to do is to attend our labs, and when a student is actually doing the thing that they've been trained to do, then they are going to come and interact with the students. Some of them are volunteering time to be able to be one of the people who check off the competency list. But really more than that, we want to engage them so they'll hire the people. Remember that is a requirement of this credential, that these lead to jobs, and so we need them to hire them.
It's quite impressive. It's a game changer. It's going to meet the workforce needs and really help, transform lives as well. So I really appreciate what you're doing. This is awesome.
We're really proud of it.
Anything else? Okay. All right. Next on our agenda is the date and location of next meeting. Immediately following this meeting, we'll have our work session in this room. And our next Board of Trustees meeting, based on our amended date, will be December 8th at 10 a.m. in this building, this room. Any comments from anyone? All right, meeting adjourned. 5-minute break. Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break before we begin our work session.
back on our veterinarian discussion with Steve Harwell. Yes, we do. And very well on that too. We've had a lot of conversations. Awesome. Okay, great. I'm excited about that. So when I got there, they had stopped the therapy. Back in the day, cosmetology, spa. I said, I got you. Sure. Let's have these three guys work together. Where they focus on recovery, avoidance of injury. I can see some
location. Thank you. Location should be the same place. Prison plan, structure, and that might change. That's say 4 or 5 years down the road.
Yes, Gary and I have talked about that. We're waiting to hear back from some other Gary brought it to my attention. He said, if we don't get it, we're going to get it over there, and then give it a month of love. He said, but the love is sometime December. Okay. I'm ready. And Dr. Baldwin's
a very long decision going to be made.
It's not a
prison plan.
Oh, okay.
Places and others. That's not our, for the time for this immediate future, yes, all those places will remain. Strictly be a shift in who they work with.
while we're waiting on the program that I would still show it. And once that's all set, trying to use people for their strengths, even if it's in their
locations. I'm sure there's a building somewhere that will be posted building. That's going to become England takes educational components. They're not working at coaching. They're working at whatever. Are you friendly? You got any questions on the budget? I guess we'll. Okay. Good time to. I got here. Well, any questions? We'll talk about it. They didn't do anything. This is starting a planning. Much earlier.
That's it. That's why
Did you
compared to so a lot of times you all going to be seeking so what I allow you all, and that allows you to, that's why CMA is, you don't see, I haven't been good for 5 years, compared to those that finished NHA, they're in the CCA today. They still can, they can have that graduate program that allows them, and they're still going to be good for 2 years.
It's going earliest.
And both recognized by employers. Both recognized by employers. That's what I had to, I was at Trustees when I
gotta do a substantial change request. We're talking about,
Because they don't recognize.
this all this did is tell the chancellor to move forward.
They recognize it. So I told them, I said, if this is a viable option for us, even though we don't implement the original but say our students are not successful. They can go for CCNA.
Legislature did a report, finding concerns. They asked us to consolidate it. Department of Corrections has asked us to consolidate it. Bureau of Permanent Parole has asked us to consolidate all that stuff together. While we're moving forward, we got all the budget chairs saying we think you ought to move in this direction. That's a pretty darn big, and we need to be ready. We can't do this. We don't need to wait until the president's meeting. We need to have instruction ready when that's ready. What do they care? We go see and for Bureau. That's it. It's just coordination. You got one entity doing two things working better, coordinating better. You got to get 5 or 6 different people in the room, different ideas, different.
If you had a master's degree,
Well, also one finding was one of the findings was that.
Blake, how you doing?
Hey man, the bad traffic.
That's what I was hearing.
They may be limited programs they can take by what prison they have to slot it to. So that was the other piece. We need to have a little more uniformity in programs all through the rotation. And we all know about that. People, man. We gotta work with them. How far backwards we need to be. Both is doing this course office. Yeah. We'll work together as we go through the process.
They're not going to do it. 5 million. Take it out the rest of the money. And there was something that
short term is one there is a change. There is a change. That's what it is.
So, but if you would bring them in to get them started, because they're getting
and also, that's not up to us. That's up to the governor, directions, and that commission they create and make those. They're trying to align with
part that would change all
This is serious. Not today. Sounds good. That'll be right.
He's out every
We appreciate it. Help too. We appreciate it. Help too.
Good morning. The first item on the work session agenda is Calhoun Community College's request for the Board of Trustees to review and approve its current mission statement. Any questions regarding this item? The next item on the agenda is Lawson State Community College's request for the Board of Trustees to review and approve its current. First item on the work session agenda is Calhoun Community College's request for the Board of Trustees to review and approve its current mission statement. We'll move forward. Before the trustees is Lawson State's request for review and approval of its current mission statement. Any questions relating to this item? The next item is Coastal Alabama Community College's request for review and approval of its updated mission statement. Any questions relating to this item? The next item is a request that the Board of Trustees authorize the President of Bishop State Community College to name the computer lab in the Advanced Manufacturing Center as the Alcompu Stainless USA LLC Computer Lab and add appropriate signage. The naming opportunity is in exchange for a $15,000 gift from Alcompu Stainless. These funds will be used for purchasing equipment for the facility. Are there any questions relating to this item? The next item on the work session agenda is a request that the Board of Trustees authorize the President of Bishop State to name the Skills Boss Lab in the Advanced Manufacturing Center as the CAM4 Skills Boss Lab and add appropriate signage. This naming opportunity would be in exchange for a gift from CAM4 Southern Pine in the amount of $178,000. These funds will be used to purchase equipment for the facility. Any questions relating to this item? The next item is the budget request, and I'll turn the floor over to Boo.
Good morning, trustees. We are in budget season, so I'm here today to present to you the ACCS FY 22-23 budget request, just to give you a little background information. As a state entity that receives state appropriations, we are required by state law to submit a budget request each year to the Executive Budget Office on November the 1st. We have done that. We also had a budget meeting with the new Finance Director, Bill Poole, and his staff that same week to talk through the submission. And we're before you today, obviously, to start the process for board consideration and approval. Overall, our budget request is solely focused, not solely, but largely focused on workforce development efforts. You've heard these presentations today about the needs that we're hearing from business and industry on a daily basis. So every one of our targeted increases has a workforce development component to it. We've also tried to build a budget request that is based on the identified needs of each colleges. We called and spoke to each college president as we were putting this request together to get their priorities, and I'm proud to say the vast majority of items are things that the presidents identified as needs and challenges on their campuses. So what I'd like to do is point you to the spreadsheet that's in your information that you have, and what I'm going to do is just work my way down on this spreadsheet and talk about the increases that we have requested and some rationale behind that request, and then certainly at the end, if any questions you have, would want to answer those. So the first item on your list here is the operations and maintenance, O&M, as it's commonly referred to. These are the dollars, the flexible dollars that you all appropriate each year through a funding formula that goes to each community and technical college in the system. We are requesting a $31.5 million increase to that item, which equates to about 8.7%. What we are requesting a general O&M increase, which would go into the funding formula that you all consider each year. We do not get involved in the earmarks. You'll see a lot of earmarks underneath the general O&M. That's a function of the legislature that they deal with, and so we don't get involved in the earmark side. So we're requesting general O&M increase. The next item that you'll see is prison education. You've just heard a report about the, where we're going with prison education and construction in the future, and this increase would help us align our programs and services to the new plans as they move forward. That's a $1 million increase that's being requested there. I'll go down to the next item, Marion Military Institute. We're requesting an $830,000 increase to their O&M, which is the same percentage as the general O&M increase. We're also asking for a new $100,000 appropriation for the Military Hall of Honor. That is a entity that was created in state law probably about 20 years ago. It is housed at MMI, but they have never received any budget support specifically for that. So we want to, we've reached a point where the college needs some additional funding outside of their general O&M for that item. So we're requesting that. Next item, Alabama Technology Network, a $500,000 increase. What we're focused on there is really to expand delivery of services to business and industry, specifically in the cybersecurity area. ATN wants to get into that space. We're hearing from business and industry that there's more and more needs associated in that particular industry, and so that would be to largely support efforts to expand what we're doing there. The next item is the Alabama Community College System Office, asking for a pretty large increase there of $13 million. That would be separated into two categories. First would be an expectation of a pay raise that could come from the legislature. We are in an election session next year, so I do expect there to be a pay raise on the table, and so we're trying to plan ahead And, you know, for that, should that come to pass. The large portion of this increase is, I think every president we talked to talked about the challenges with capital improvements and maintenance and being able to keep up with the maintenance that they need on their buildings. It is a challenge. K-12 has a special fund that they get in a property tax that's been in place for many years of about $200 million a year that goes directly to the K-12 systems for capital improvements. We don't have a fund like that. Colleges have to use their O&M dollars to keep up with maintenance. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. And we're facing now buildings that are 40, 50, 60 years old that are in desperate need of repair. So we're proposing a new capital improvement fund out of the Chancellor's office that will be used to provide much needed funding to colleges for capital improvement needs. Next item is dual enrollment, asking for a $3 million increase there. You all heard Olivier's presentation earlier. Every year we're seeing increase after increase in dual enrollment. This is to keep up with the scholarship dollars to be able to serve those increased number of students that are coming through each year. Next item is the industry certification workforce initiatives, asking for a almost $8 million increase on that item. That would be split into two categories. An extra $1 million for updated workforce equipment at each college, and then a large increase of almost $7 million for career coaches. We're trying to reimagine what is a career coach and what they do. We're seeing, especially in a time with COVID-19, the mentorship of students is becoming more and more important. And so we really want to ramp up the program and the number of people we have out in the field working with students. If we were to receive this appropriation, this would go to hire 100 new individuals at the colleges, focused specifically on helping students with success and student services to navigate through the college process. Next item is adult education. We're asking for $1 million increase there, really for two purposes: to increase and to expand into more career pathways training programs where they're merging career tech opportunities with the adult education students to get more of those folks credentialed and into the workforce. Also to help start a process to compensate our adult education instructors better. It is a challenge. We heard that from presidents a lot, that it is a challenge to keep good qualified instructors in adult education because they are typically some of the lower paid instructors that we have in our system. And they leave, it's not even competitive with K-12. A lot of times these folks leave and go to the K-12 system. So trying to start a process where we can compensate those instructors on a better scale. Moving on down, we've asked for a $10 million increase in the short-term certification and credentials item. That is associated with what you've heard from Chris and Mara today with the Innovation Center to really continue to ramp up short-term training opportunities at our colleges. You've heard the support we've received from state associations. We're very early in this process, and it's becoming very obvious. We're already beyond what the initial appropriation was from the legislature. It's a very popular program, so we're hoping to expand that even further. And the last increased item we're requesting is $1 million for distance learning. You all know with COVID, our colleges really had to shift on a dime to go to more online and distance learning opportunities. What we're really looking at this item for is a lot of the career tech related programs. We're starting to find out more about the new VR and AR technology that can be utilized for those programs, and so we would like to expand into that arena more and purchase some of that equipment that would specifically help in those career tech fields. So overall, we're looking at a $69 million year-over-year increase with our budget request. That's 14.8%. As you know, the state coffers, the budgets are in really good shape right now, and so we've put a pretty aggressive request out there, we know, and we're going to make the case for it. But we think all of these things are reasonable and justifiable, and they're based on needs that we've heard from our presidents and from our colleges. So at this time, I would be happy to answer any questions or go into any additional detail that you'd like me to.
I've got a question on the distance learning. Do you think, considering what we had to do in the past year, $1 million is enough? I mean, do you think you can get more?
Well,
I know we're looking at the whole budget, but.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, a lot of the federal money that has been sent down from the various stimulus packages are focused on the distance learning components. So there's a lot of utilization there that the colleges can utilize. What we're finding when it comes to this specialized AR equipment, there are some limitations there with that funding. So we felt like the federal money could be used for most of, you know, some of the needs, but not for this specialized equipment that we're talking about here. So that's where the $1 million comes from. Obviously, in the future, if this continues to move forward, we're going to have to relook at this and possibly some additional funds in the future. All right. Well, thank you. And again, if there's any questions as we move forward, please let me know.
Good morning, board members. We have before you today the project tied with Wallace Community College Selma over in Demopolis. This is the renovation of the newly acquired National Guard Armory. This is being developed, board members, for us to transform that facility for uses such as welding, CDL training, modern manufacturing, HVAC, and other programs for workforce development. As we take a look at this project out there in Demopolis, the site has plenty of opportunity for CDL. The building itself has wonderful space for welding and other course and workforce curriculum to be taught in the facility. We have here, we've been working with the architects to take and begin to modernize this facility so that it will have the curb appeal and attraction for Demopolis and those that we want to invite to come into the program and participate with those activities that will be taught there. As we take a look at the schedule for this project, as we have reviewed it the last couple of weeks, we were moving in a direction to have bids back at the beginning of December. We are taking a little bit more time to make sure that we get the specs and the drawings and everything such so that the contractors will know exactly what they're going to be bidding and responding to. That schedule will slip a couple of weeks and we'll have bids back before we break for the Christmas break. And then we'll have those bids for you in the January board meeting. We'll let contracts so that we're able to start construction with successful bids in February. And we do anticipate that we will have substantial completion in the fall of 2022. The budget that you can see here, as we have talked about this, we have taken an approach where we do want to make sure that we address the facility so that as we build it out for the use of workforce, that as we tour it and look at it, that we don't have any areas that become a distraction, and we ask ourselves the question, well, why didn't we take care of these things? So it really is an all-out effort to modernize, make it look contemporary and not like a National Guard armory, and inviting for our students as they come to campus. Board members, do you have any questions?
Just one from, concerning for CDL training, the hard stand in the back of the facility, currently paved, or we paved?
It is paved.
It is paved, okay. And so there are some asphalt upgrades, I understand in the scope. Is that exclusive of that?
The upgrades right now are in the front area. As we come in, we do have a number of potholes. We want to freshen that entire area up so it's inviting. As we look to the back, we do see the condition of the asphalt where it is graveling. We are looking at a seal coating that can go over that, and that is something that will be able to come back as they develop that program.
Okay, great.
Bid date is in December. We will have those bids back to us about the 20th, and those will be ready for us to take action in the January board meeting.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I was battalion commander, and that was one of my units in 2002 and 3. As we were mobilizing that group, we sent a bunch of young men and women to Fort Benning, Georgia, to prepare for the invasion of Iraq and the global war on terrorism. So they were there for several months at Fort Benning. Ended up not being deployed as a unit due to some other things, but I've got fond memories of that facility as an armory, and it was fairly new back then, so I'm delighted to see that we're looking to potentially improve that facility and provide workforce training for it in West Alabama.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, board members.
Good morning, Chancellor Baker, members of the board. Today, we have 5 applications from a health science standpoint that we would like to present today. We have 2 from Coastal Alabama Community College. They will be presented by Dr. Jean Graham via Zoom. I will present on behalf of Lawson State Community College. I'll also present on behalf of Southern Union State Community College. And we have President Haygood and Dr. Hartley from Bevel State that will be presenting as well. So at this time, as is listed on the work session, I'll turn it over to Dr. Jean Graham from Coastal Alabama Community College via Zoom.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. This is Jean Graham. I am Dean of Nursing and Allied Health for Coastal Alabama Community College, and I appreciate the opportunity to present to you on behalf of Coastal Alabama, a request for 2 new programs. The first program that we are requesting is approval to begin a medical assistant technology program. This will be located at the Bay Minette campus. I have received innumerable requests over the last couple of years from individual medical offices for medical assistants. But when the infirmary health systems approached me regarding the need for medical assistance because they had 12 openings and no applicants, we felt that this was an opportune time to begin a program to meet the needs of our communities. A survey of students enrolled in Coastal Alabama Community College indicated overwhelming support and interest for a medical assisting program. This program has been identified by the Alabama Committee of Credentialing and Career Pathways as an in-demand occupation for Workforce Region 7, which is the region for Coastal Alabama Community College. Alabama's in-demand occupations list indicates a 22% increase in need for medical assistance from 2014 to 2024. And statistics show that over 300 more openings for medical assistance are available in our area in comparison to the national average. Medical assistants work under the supervision of physicians, and they perform a broad range of administrative and clinical duties, such as scheduling and receiving patients, handling telephone calls, serving as a liaison between the physician and others, and preparing and maintaining medical records. They obtain patient histories and vital signs, prepare patients for procedures, they assist the physician with examinations and treatments, collect specimens, perform diagnostic tests, prepare and administer medications as directed. Over 60% of employed physicians, over 60% of medical assistants are employed in physicians' offices and clinics, and others are employed by hospitals and then other healthcare facilities. Coastal Alabama will seek program accreditation through the Commission of Accreditation and Allied Health Programs, or KHEP. Program accreditation will enable graduates to be eligible to sit for the certification exam to become certified medical assistants. This is a 5-semester program that leads to an associate in applied science degree. However, upon successful completion of the 3rd semester, students are awarded a short-term certificate in medical assisting and a short-term certificate in phlebotomy. Students may also just take the short-term certificate in medical assisting and or the short-term certificate in phlebotomy as well. We have obtained letters of support from Grove Hill Memorial Hospital, Infirmary Health Systems, Jackson Healthcare, Mobile Diagnostic and Medical Clinic, South Baldwin Regional Medical Center Physicians Practices, South Baldwin Regional Medical Center, Thomas Hospital, and William F. Green Veterans Home. This program has been recommended for approval by the Alabama Commission on Higher Education and will be on the December agenda. The next program that I would like to request approval is for a startup of a medical laboratory technician technology program. This program is to be located at our Atmore campus. This program is being requested because several area hospitals indicated the need for laboratory personnel and asked if Coastal Alabama would be willing to administer a program. Again, the student body survey showed overwhelming positive interest for this program. This program has been identified by the Alabama Committee of Credentialing and Career Pathways as an in-demand occupation for Workforce Region number 7. There is predicted to be a 6.9% growth in job openings through 2028 in our region for this occupation. Graduates of the Medical Lab Tech program would be employed by hospital laboratories, physicians' offices, and other laboratory facilities to collect medical samples and perform tests on those samples, analyze body fluids, study blood samples, and discuss results with physicians. Coastal Alabama Community College will seek accreditation of the Medical Laboratory Technology program through the National Accrediting Agency for Clinical Laboratory Sciences. Program accreditation will enable graduates to be eligible to sit for the certification exam through the American Society for Clinical Pathology to become certified medical laboratory technicians. The Medical Laboratory Technician program leads to an Associate in Applied Science degree. There are not stackable credentials with this program. The curriculum, however, has been developed to enable students to easily transfer to a university for a bachelor's degree in medical laboratory technology. Agencies who provide support for this program include D.W. McMillan Memorial Hospital, Grove Hill Memorial Hospital, Jackson Healthcare, Mobile Infirmary, South Baldwin Regional Medical Center, Thomas Hospital, University Hospital of South Alabama, and William F. Green Veterans Home. This program has been recommended for approval by the Alabama Commission on Higher Ed and will be on the agenda for the December meeting. And that concludes my 2 requests. I appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. At this time, I'll be presenting on behalf of Lawson following the work session as is laid out. It's going to be my pleasure to walk you through the Lawson State Community College Associate of Applied Science for Dental Assisting. Lawson State has done an outstanding job identifying a need within their workforce Region 4. The dental assisting program has been identified by the AAACP as an in-demand occupation. Some of the basic things that a dental assistant perform in the office is that they perform basic medical records and assist with examinations, perform tray setups for dental procedures, perform x-rays, dental impressions, and they provide patient prevention education. Lawson currently offers a long-term certificate in this program that's accredited through the Commission of Dental Accreditation, or CODA. One of the things that happens with this program, with it being an Associate of Applied Science, it now allows the students to find a different degree pathway if they decide to go pre-dental programs at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and potentially those students that are out there in the general education field, it now gives them an option to work in the health profession programs that are offered, and it allows their dental assistant program to be a viable option for them that are completing those things. They have faculty members, facilities, and equipment in place for this particular degree, with them already offering a long-term certificate degree program. And Dr. Anthony and Dr. Derrico at Lawson, they definitely got great letters of support from the Jefferson County Department of Health. This program has been recommended by Accs and will be on their December agenda. Pending any questions, that will end my report for Lawson State's dental assisting application. Okay. Hearing none. The next I'll be presenting on behalf of Southern Union State Community College. Southern Union State Community College will be offering an Associate of Applied Science in Wellness and Therapeutic Massage. Southern Union did something really good here. They basically found a way to enhance their current massage therapy certificate program by creating an Associate of Applied Science program that employers are in need of Region 2. And what this did, not only did it help meet the demand for the employers, but it also helped them continue with their affiliations with the Auburn University, I should say, with their paths to the plane. The massage therapy program currently is going to be recognized as an in-demand job by the AAACP. A lot of times when we look at the wellness and therapeutic massage program, it prepares the individuals to provide relief in health and wellness and the well-being of clients through skin, muscle, and connective tissue manipulation. But they also do a number of other things as far as the help with the lack of mobility. They also help with strengthening overall relaxation and improved posture. Southern Union offers a short-term certificate program that is in place. So with this Associate Applied Science program, it creates a sound pathway for the students that would like to pursue their education through that affiliation with Auburn University with Path to the Plains in exercise science, physical fitness, and kinesiology. But it also is a possibility to bridge their particular program for physical therapy assistant that Southern Union already offers. Currently, they have faculty members, facility, and equipment in place. And a lot of these stackable credentials that will be offered through this particular program will allow them to be nationally, receive their national certification through therapeutic massage, and they also receive state licensure, CPR first aid certification through the American Red Cross, but they also will achieve a personal trainer certificate through the American Council of Exercise, or what they call ACE. President Shackett and Dean Davis received excellent letters of support through their community partners, one being the Department of Kinesiology at Auburn University, Massage Envy, and several others. This program has been recommended for approval by Accs and will be on their December agenda. Pending any questions, this will end my report for Southern Union State's Wellness and Therapeutic Massage application. Okay. At this time, I'd like to bring up President Haygood and Dr. Hartley to present on behalf of Bevel State Community College for the Medical Assistant Program.
Chancellor and Trustees, let me say what a privilege it is for me to be here on behalf of Bevel State to seek your approval to offer a medical assisting technology program beginning in the spring of 2022 semester, and also further pending additional approvals from SAC COC and the Alabama Commission on Higher Education. I I'll give you just a little bit of an overview, and then I will turn it over to my Vice President of Instruction and Student Services, Dr. Hartley, to kind of give you more of the meat and potatoes. Also, let me say, before I continue, we're also proud to have Dr. Retha Cavness here today, who is our Director of Health Sciences as well for Bevel State. But medical assistants are healthcare professionals who complete administrative and clinical tasks in the offices of physicians, hospitals, and other healthcare facilities. And their duties really vary with the location and specialty and the size of the practice. Our proposed program has been developed with the input from healthcare partners from our surrounding service area and our local K-12 system. The college definitely sees the value of increased dual enrollment options in healthcare, considering that many of our high school partners have strong health occupational sciences programs already in place and have expressed an interest in the dual enrollment credit. This program will prepare approximately 30 students per year to obtain the skills necessary for entry-level employment, and will be open to both traditional and non-traditional students, incumbent workers, veterans, first-generation college students, dual enrollment students, as I said, and many others on both our Hamilton and Jasper campuses immediately, once we obtain approval, of course. The program will then be expanded to our other campuses of Bevel State as it is needed and the interest arises. So thank you so much. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Hartley, Vice President of Instruction and Student Services, to give you a little more detail.
Good morning, Board. Good morning, Chancellor. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you this morning. Can I just say ditto from what Dr. Graham said from Coastal? I will try not to duplicate information, but I do want to tell you about specifics of Bevel's program. So, okay. What button? There we go. Okay. Both Dr. Graham and Dr. Haygood talked about the duties that a typical medical assistant would be performing in, for the most part, physicians' offices. They do have opportunities in hospitals, long-term care facilities, outpatients, even in chiropractic offices. And the reason that I'm showing these typical duties is because what Bevel did was work with our partners to build the program backwards, basically. We want to have a program that has these skills in mind. And so program quality and program improvement, all of those will be around these skills so that when we produce a graduate, the person would have a job. So working with our industry, our healthcare industry, we have been able to provide a very detailed list of duties and program goals and student learning outcomes. In the state of Alabama, it is one of the 4th highest needs in the healthcare industry, medical assisting, and in the demand occupations, we saw an 18% growth in the nation. So we began to look at this with our healthcare partners, but also with our K-12 partners. One of the things that we saw from our K-12 systems was an interest and a hope to be able to provide dual enrollment in other healthcare occupations besides EMS. And that's what our college primarily offers as dual enrollment programs, is through EMS. So our Director of Health Sciences met with some of our high school partners, met with some of our local healthcare providers, and did surveys, asked all kinds of questions to get to where we needed to go with this program. As far as job demand in our area, as far as Bevel State service area, we used local MC data that projected an 8% growth in the need for medical assistance within a 60-mile radius of Bevel State's main campus in Jasper. And currently, from that same data, there are over 500 annual openings in our service area. So, a typical medical assistant in the state of Alabama could expect to earn approximately $30,000 per year. So we felt like the job outlook was quite promising. We went ahead also and asked our students about this. We have approximately 16% of our college's enrollment is in health sciences, and another 12% of our enrollment are students who want to go into health sciences. They're pre-nursing majors, for example. So we sent a survey out and we asked our students, hey, if you had had the opportunity to do this as a dual enrollment student when you were in high school, would you have been interested in that? And 88% of them said yes, that would be a good option and a viable way to get into the medical field earlier and have a pathway to other healthcare options. 88% of them said it was a good option, say, for example, if they didn't get into the nursing program or they didn't get into the surg tech program. So this would be another opportunity for students in this healthcare field, even if they were not able to get into the nursing or surg tech or EMS programs. We also surveyed our healthcare partners in the region, and we asked them, what certifications do you require? What formal training is required? And the vast majority of them require some formal education and certifications for them to even be employed in their facilities. And along with that, 90% of those that responded to this survey volunteered for the opportunity to let students work in their facility as clinical students, and able to be learning on the job, able to be learning while they're in a real-life healthcare setting. So we felt that was very encouraging. There are multiple letters of support in your packet, so I won't go through all of those. I know you have those. In the healthcare field, we believe that work-based learning is so very important. Bevel State has a simulation lab on every one of our campuses, mostly funded through some of the workforce development initiatives through the system. And all of our students are able to practice in the simulation lab so that they are in a safe, relatively safe medical environment and practice their skills. But we also require our healthcare students to be in clinicals as well. And in this particular program, our medical assisting program, it is an associate in applied science, but we have a built-in short-term certificate. And in the short-term certificate, the students would do those clinicals in the summer term, in the last term that they are in. This is important for dual enrollment students because you can't do those until you have a high school diploma. So we're trying to build this where a student could enter in their senior year, and then in the summer after they graduate, they would be able to do clinicals and finish the short-term certificate. Last couple of things, a few details. Short-term certificate that we're proposing is 3 semesters. The Associate in Applied Science is 5 semesters. And the college already has a well-established continuous improvement cycle. So once this is approved, it will go in our a rotation of programs that are reviewed every 5 years. We do, and we were very conscious of the certifications that were available to our students. The short-term certificate prepares a student to be a certified phlebotomist, and they can take the American Society of Phlebotomy Technicians exam. The AAS prepares the student to be either a certified medical assistant or a certified clinical medical assistant, and those are 2 different tests, and the student can choose on which one they would like to take. The college has already made plans for certain faculty members to work in this department and work toward building the program. And we also have identified some adjunct partners, and we have to have a program coordinator once we get it off the ground, and one of our faculty members already have been approached and addressed to become the program coordinator. And lastly, budget information. We did look at these programs on our Jasper and Hamilton campuses. We do not need new facilities, we just need some specific equipment related to medical assisting. So the budget so far is not very, it's not very costly because we're going to use our existing facilities and our existing labs that I mentioned earlier. And we are in the process of seeking Accs COC accreditation, substantive change. We are on the board agenda for AIC in December, And once the program gets going, we will seek program accreditation through CAHEP, the Commission on Accreditation of Allied Health Programs. And I'll be happy to answer questions, and Dr. Cavness would be happy to answer questions too.
Assume your 30 student enrollment, that's split between the campuses, about 50% each, or?
Yes, sir.
And your 1,300 job openings currently in your service area, is that right?
Yes.
Wow, it's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were very excited to,
Yeah.
we thought it was, but we needed the data behind it.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation.
Good.
I think that's the last item on the agenda. Board members, shall have any other questions or comments? Chancellor? All right, thank you, everyone. Work session is adjourned.
Thank y'all for looking after the West Side. Y'all know where I stay.
You coming back next month?
We figure you're gonna make it official then?
Will it be December?
Yep, that's mine. There's a great one too.